72 degrees at about 8 o'clock this morning. T-Rex, that's not too bad. It's technically, we're in cold air advection, but it's not really cold. Last Tuesday, Wednesday, Mount Washington got down into the mid-30s. This morning, Mount Washington in the mid-40s with wind 65 miles per hour. It's a very strong low-pressure system we've been talking about, well, for about 8 or 9 days. Ended up going across northern Maine, and it was all it could be. What do you want to talk about first? Yesterday? Today? The weekend? Let's start with today and go forward and then rewind to yesterday. All right, how am I going to hide from the wind? T-Rex, can I hide from the wind over here next to you? See the difference between this week and last week? Last week, it was high pressure from Canada that came in on the backside of our departing fronts. This week, there's low pressure in Canada. So there's our 995 low in north of Maine, and then there's a 1,001 millibar low near James Bay. Where the guidance got confused about 6 days ago. The guidance had that 980 something low over James Bay. So instead of having one strong storm, we've got two fairly strong storms. So the high pressure system today is in Georgia. So it's not a Canadian high, it's a southeastern United States high. And the gradient is nowhere near as strong. Say if we had a 1020 high instead of a 1,000 millibar low over Canada, then it would be extremely windy today. Instead, sailboat racing today. Well, the dew point still could come down a little bit. Dew point got to do with sailboat racing, Tim. It's going to get a little less humid as the day goes on. And there's the departing storm up there and a few of these fair weather clouds. And here's the wind forecast, Kevin. It's going to be from the northwest all day at 10 to 20 knots, probably about 10 to 15 knots from the west-northwest with a high tide 6 to 7 o'clock tonight. So it looks like a nice night for sailing. Can't wait to see all your spinnakers going. It's dry air, especially high in the sky, but the dew point still is in the lower 60s right now. So this next low coming across Canada is going to drop a front into New England tomorrow. So just as quickly as the dew point comes down into the 50s, it's going to go back up into the 60s tomorrow ahead of that front. But once again, it's not just one front. There's dual fronts, the one from Canada and also that subtropical boundary we talk about so much off to our south with the dew point coming back up into the 70s in southeastern Massachusetts. Oh, there's an egret landing. You going to land for it? Oh, that's a gull. Never mind. Who cares about gulls? Give me an egret. Where's the egret? So there's still a forecast of a sub-1,000 millibar low going south of Cape Cod. Now, the track of that is really important. Look at that. It's got several closed isobars. Looks like almost a nor'easter for Nantucket tomorrow evening, tomorrow night, and Friday morning. So that's a real wild card. Supposedly, the heaviest precipitation with that is going to stay just south of New England. But that seems too far south to me. I'm going to go for another dose of pretty intense shower activity tomorrow night, late tomorrow, western and northern New England, tomorrow night, and Friday morning first thing in southern and eastern New England. A real wild card. Even the National Weather Service says a slight chance of an isolated tornado tomorrow night. Are you kidding? That would be the second tornado outbreak in 2 days. What was that? Was that a hummingbird? Something just went by. Hard to focus, isn't it? Because I love talking about everything. Beautiful it's Wednesday. Beautiful Wednesday. Thursday's going downhill. Friday, the weather turns beautiful again. A lot like this, I think, on Friday. And then another front's coming at us on Saturday. And that looks like a pretty potent low-pressure system again. Late Saturday night. More showers and thunderstorms. Mostly western and northern New England, I think, with that one. But that does press south on Sunday morning. We may end up with some showers or thunderstorms in southern New England Sunday. And then we have drier air coming in briefly again Monday. And then this is a pretty big change to the forecast. The middle of next week. Now we have another upper level low coming into the northeast and a chance of more showers and thunderstorms, whereas about 3 or 4 days ago the Euro had low pressure in Canada with high pressure to our south And it looked like temperatures could go to 90 the middle of the week, and that's no longer the case. A wholesale change, keeping troughing in southeastern Canada and New England. So that obviously is a moving target. Weather is always a moving target. The guidance did a horrible job with the weather in southeastern Massachusetts yesterday. That was supposed to be the least rainy area. The guidance did really a terrible job. It really takes meteorologists. You know, we talked about the precipitable water yesterday and the upper level low, and we talked about on Monday how there should be a flood watch in effect for Tuesday, and there wasn't. And anyhow, there was never even a flood warning issued for South Dennis, where Peter Hecking, there's his rain gauge, 4.7 inches of rain yesterday in South Dennis, mostly in an hour. My friend Jeff Mers, I don't have any video from Jeff, but he says this is the rainiest day he's had since August 9th, 1992, which that day he had more than 5 inches of rain in Dennis. There's the map from August 9th, the anniversary today of 1992. So 31 years ago today, Cape Cod, 5.5 inches of rain, but that was in all-day downpours. Yesterday, 4.75 inches of rain. That's his second rainiest day, and that all happened in about an hour. So to say the atmosphere is juiced is an understatement. A lot of questions about the tornadoes. The tornado warning in Mattapoisett was issued about 2 minutes before the tornado touched down, so that one verified. The tornado that was reported in Barnstable touched down about a minute before that warning. And the tornado warning west of Boston, that one did not have a tornado, but the flooding rains, more than 6 inches of rain in Lawrence, Massachusetts yesterday. So obviously this season, take the over in the rainfall. Don't like the look of the maps coming up here. There's a lot of fuses that are lit, and so far nothing from the hurricane center on the next 7 days, but it doesn't matter. We're getting these flooding rains. Weather is what weather is, and it's tropical air trying to move north and colder air from the North Pole going south, whether you get a named storm or not. It's weather being weather, and these have been disastrous floods without named storms. And yesterday, of course, the flooding was really the big issue, but the news led with the fact that there was a tornado briefly that impacted a shed and some trees in Mattapoisett. And there's the tornado debris signature on the Mattapoisett system that was over Marion at the time. And if you look at the tornado debris signature, or it's actually called the correlation coefficient in Barnstable, it was not as clear, but friend in Centerville, Peter Hecking's friend in Centerville, said it looked like a tornado in my backyard. Kind of ruined his outdoor kitchen there in his backyard there. So I'll leave you with a few of my observations from yesterday and a quiet 36 hours before the weather hits the fan again tomorrow night and Friday morning. Plenty to talk about. Thanks for watching. I'm monetizing my videos now, so if you could manage to watch an entire ad, that would help me a little bit. I'd make 2 cents instead of 1. Thanks. Talk to you later. First downpour of the day. Come in kind of from the southeast at the surface, aloft south-southwest. 100 knots at 40,000 feet this morning. Steve usually makes a beeline for out the door. What, you don't want to go out the door, Steve? So there was a tornado warning issued to our west at 9. I don't think it verified, but a lot of rotation in the sky. Looks like this downpour could be over in a few minutes. The question is, are we going to get any more? Wow, things just escalated quickly. We were in a flash flood warning and a severe storm warning, but not much has been happening. But the second downpour in an hour, less than an hour, is just moving in. Look at that, coming in so fast, building so quickly. There's a cloud the size of Mount Everest just kind of blossoming right over Weymouth right now. Getting dark. We had 0.11 from that last downpour that lasted about 3 minutes. So this one looks a lot more interesting. It's just turned really red on the radar. So we may end up with our flash flooding from a cell that barely even really existed a few minutes ago. 11:35 a.m. update. Wild looking sky here in North Weymouth. We just had another pretty good downpour, and there's a tornado warning in effect right now over Marion into Wareham. There was a tornado debris signature, so not only is there rotation, apparently the radar is picking up debris being lifted into the atmosphere by a 40,000 foot tall rotating cumulonimbus. So it looks like there is a tornado today. The teams will be on it this afternoon. One more downpour to go here in Weymouth, and I think the sun's going to be out shortly after lunchtime. So the first downpour gave us 0.11 up to 0.62, so we picked up another 0.51 in about 10 minutes. The temperature was 78. Now it's down to 75. Big question is what's going to happen this afternoon. Play-by-play, now casting in effect this afternoon. All day, really. A midday update, 80 degrees at 12:40. T-Rex. Oh, it's even more steamy than it was before the thunderstorms. Isn't it supposed to get less steamy after the thunderstorms? Well, the storms were way out ahead of the main low pressure system, or the main surface trough, I guess. Upper level trough is coming right over us right now, and the surface low still could generate a few more showers or a thunderstorm, but we're all set now for a little while. No real significant weather right here in North Weymouth. Ultimately, we got 0.65, so 0.11, then a 0.52, and then a 0.03 in 3 different downpours. But there was a tornado in Marion, I think, and there was a tornado warning over Barnstable County. Went right across, looks like just north of Barnstable Harbor, or right over Barnstable Harbor. So now it's just sultry, there's no wind, and maybe the worst is over for the day. We'll see. Play by play today. Air conditioners are on. It's a hot one. 2:15 update. The Burt's Boatyard Lake is draining nicely. Close to an inch of rain so far. We've had blue sky for a couple of hours. There's still one more push. It's still very sticky outside, so I think at least one more downpour. Otherwise beautiful for a few minutes, albeit pretty warm. All right, it's hot. All right, it feels like Florida. All right, that's the truth. It's like Florida here. How about a little update from the blueberry patch? Can't go by here without an update. Looking good. Oh yeah, this little dose of rain will make them pretty plump. Focus, there it is. Still plenty of berries to grow too. Grow, that aren't blue yet. 3 o'clock, Steve's in his favorite spot. So there are some more downpours, but they're widely scattered, nothing severe. This is gonna be the real front. We should have some cooler and drier air showing up by evening. But another couple of hours. Oh, that looks so pretty, look at that. Like the Caribbean today. Wow, that'll be a rain shower in about 10 minutes. Just over Hull.
Not as high tech as yours, but pretty much the same number.
Cold air advection. Beautiful. Last hour has turned awesome. Let's get the final commentary of the night from Doug Kent at Burt's Boatyard.
Oh, isn't this high, the wind goes from high pressure to low?
Yeah, wind moves
going out.
high to low pressure. Suddenly it's really low humidity. So how do you think the forecast verified for the day today, Don's son?
We had it all.
We had it all.
From blue skies early on to tornado warnings, 2 of them today, I think.
Was the timing like they said on TV last night?
It was a little off.
What do you mean?
Well, what I remember is it was supposed to be happening between 3 a.m. and like 8.
Yeah.
And it didn't really. The action was late this morning, so.
Right.
You know.
So it happened, but it didn't happen right when we thought. And that is the nature of these kind of convective events.
It happens.
You can't like set your clock to them. Or the timing or spatiality. So in the last hour we've lost, I don't know, 8 degrees on the dew point from 65 to 57 maybe. And today near Dennis there was almost 5 inches of rain, and in Needham there was about 4 inches of rain, and here in Weymouth less than an inch. So that's the nature of these things, right?
That's it. Didn't Lawrence get like 6?
Yeah. Weather does what it wants to do. The most
Nature-
rain since this engine was built in Lawrence, Massachusetts.
Nature
today.
makes the final call.
Last out the door of the day. Sunset. Oh, it's getting so early. Steve, where'd you go? Come on, you can go out the door too. So it's still really warm under here, but you come out where there's a little breeze, and the biggest news is the dew point has come down. How pretty is that? Towering cumulonimbus at sunset, casting a shadow on the clouds above them. So I talked about crepuscular rays last night, coming from the heavens to the earth, but then when it goes from the earth to the heavens, it's called anti-crepuscular rays. It has to do with the twilight. Just gorgeous. So the dew point's coming down, still near 80 degrees. We still may end up with a little bit more rain before the day is done. Looks like a good downpour north of Boston. Another unforgettable day. But there's so many unforgettable days, I have to write them down. Otherwise, I'll forget about them. Gorgeous, pretty, much drier air coming in. Hey, you're pointed the wrong way. Wind is still from the south-southeast. It was from the west a few minutes ago. So we have yet another pulse of colder front coming at us. Dew point went down, then it came back up, and it's going to go down again overnight. Air conditioner is turned off, windows are open. And of course, some natural sound, that's what that means, for the sunset time lapse here in North Weymouth, Massachusetts on the wettest day in 31 years in South Dennis, Massachusetts. No birds, just dogs. And planes, and a cat. Where's T-Rex? What can I do for you? You like this drier air? I do too. What is it, Rex? What is it? All right, talk to you tomorrow. Yeah, that's the happy shake. He's kind of wrapped around all those poles though. All right, cow, eat some of that grass.